You are watching Christian Women Living in High Definition. Just as the seasons change, so does the spiritual seasons of our Christian lives. In our next episodes, we will be discussing the season of singleness, the good, the bad, and explore the possibilities. Now to the host, Lady Marie Hargrove.
Hello and welcome. My name is Yolanda Hodges. Praise God. So today we have a very juicy topic. So I want you to, if you're not comfortable, I want you to get comfortable because for the next 30 minutes, we are going to have a very candid conversation about the season of singleness. The good, the bad, and the possible. The good, there is good in that season, in this season of singleness. Apostle Paul encouraged people to remain single. But there are also times where some individuals that find this season challenging and difficult. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then lastly, we'll talk about the possibilities of what we can do in this season to maximize this season in our lives. So I know everyone is wondering, where's the host? Where is Lady Marie Hargrove? She is here on the set. However, we thought that it would be best for the person that facilitated this discussion to be single. And at this present time in my life, that is my marital status. So I am the one that will be facilitating the questions on today. However, I'll be doing things a little bit differently. Not only will I be asking the questions, I will be answering some of them as well. So I'm kind of like a guest and a host. Okay? So I'm not the only single person that will be participating in this panel. I have 3 other individuals that will be helping me. And so I'll take the time to introduce them now. Okay, so first we have Kedra Pittman. And Kedra is a full-time college student, right, Kedra? Okay. So she'll be bringing a very interesting perspective to the discussion. And Kedra has never been married, right?
No.
Okay, all right. So she's saying that like she's happy. Okay, and then we thought that it would be helpful to bring a male's perspective to this conversation. So we have a brave soul, and his name is Isaac Hargrove. And Isaac, are you living in Racine? Just in case.
No, I live in Waukesha.
Okay, he lives in Waukesha, ladies. But anyway, he is the son of Melvin and Lady Marie Hargrove. So welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
So happy to have you on today to participate in our discussion. And thank you for allowing us to get a little bit into your business because we will today. We'll be having, we'll talk a little bit we'll have a little bit of Bible study today, and then we'll have a lot of dialogue and just fun. So let's get started. Let's dig right in. So my first question is, the U.S. Census reported that there were 110.6 million singles in 2017 in the U.S. And so does that, when you hear that number, does that surprise you? Why or why not? Anybody jump in, because if you don't jump in, the teacher in me is going to come out and I'm going to start pointing fingers. Okay. All right.
Personally, for me, it does not surprise me just because there's so many different factors to why people are single. So divorce, and you are still considered single even if you are in a relationship, if you're not married. So different factors like that, and people just want to live their lives these days, so they just know what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Isaac?
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's more, I'm not surprised at all. I feel that a lot of people, whether it's, people that are getting engaged or people that are just, out of a 8-year relationship and, they don't want to do anything for a while. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all that there are so many.
Yeah. I just feel like people don't value the benefits that are associated with marriage anymore. It's like the world has given us so many different alternatives to marriage, like, shacking and friends with benefits, and you know, a lot of children are not being raised in households with two parents,
Well,
right?
and that's the problem exactly, is the fact that, one, you have so many kids that are raised by kids. So that's what they see and that's what they do. And unfortunately, a lot of that kind of stems from not necessarily having that background of, hey, this is the way that things are supposed to be done. And that's what I feel causes for that cycle to continue.
Exactly, I agree. Okay, so on to the next question. So we live in a culture that exalts marriage over singleness, as if, you know, being single is, you know, not the place to be. So first of all, do you agree with that statement, or, and if so, why not?
I enjoy being single, and and the reason why is because I get to know me. I get to figure out, you know, what makes me tick, what things I love to do, and then, you know, if I find somebody else that happens to share some of those same passions, then we can talk from there. But if you don't know who you are as a single person, then there's no point of you being in a relationship, because now you have to try to get along or figure out two people instead of just, you know, the one.
Can I say amen?
Yes.
That was on point. What about you?
I think marriage is definitely the goal, but I'm happy with being single. I don't want anybody right now. Leave me alone. No, but I definitely think you have to find your identity and your identity in Christ. Like, I have to know who I am, and I want my foundation to be in God solely. And first, He needs to be number one in my life before I try to entertain other people and other things, because that's just another distraction, and it doesn't help you in the long run. If you don't know who you are, if you're just messing with different people, and you're just adding more, you know, struggles and burdens onto you, when you need to figure out who you are and live the right way.
Yeah, I would add that I kind of sum it up in this sentence, these couple of sentences. Marriage is not a reward from God for you doing something right, and singleness is not a punishment from God for doing something wrong. So I feel like a lot of times, if you've been in this season for a long time in your life, self-doubt and despair kind of trickles in, and then you start questioning God. What did I do, God? Why are you not answering my prayers? And we don't serve that kind of God where He would punish us for, you know, by withholding a spouse, if that is our desire, I believe. So great. So we'll go on to the next question here. So having said that about those things about society and how society views being single, what are some misconceptions that people have about people that are single?
I think the first thing that comes to mind for me is the fact that if you're single, you're just out and you're doing whatever you want and you're free and you're just having this grand old time all the time, and you know, hooking up with everybody and, you know, just living the life. That's not it at all.
That's not it, huh?
No, I mean, and I think that just comes from, well, I've gone to church my entire life. Being single I've found has been the time where I need to get to know myself and whatnot, and not just in God, but then, you know, if I want to have a family, I need to have a good, secure job. I need to make sure that, you know, I'm getting my amount of sleep. I need to make sure I'm working out. Like, just those are all things that are all important to me. And that's what I spend my single time doing, not, you know, going out and hanging out at the bars every night and, you know, being hungover in the morning. No, past that. I'm not over that.
Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think people think that if you're single, you're lonely.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got Jesus. He walks with me all the day long.
Amen.
No,
Amen.
for real.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm not lonely. I mean, you can still have friends and different things and still have fun. Like, just because you're single doesn't mean that you're lonely and you just so desire to have someone and desperate and things like that. Like, it's a lot of negative connotations with being single.
Yeah.
But personally, that's not my testimony.
Okay. So I'm going to have a testimony right here, because I used to have a misconception about single men. And but I've asked God for forgiveness, and I've worked through this, right? But I used to think, like, if there was a single man and he was up in age, like if he was like 40, late 40s, 50s, 60s, and he had never been married, it would get, I would pause, when I heard about that or learned about that. I wouldn't think anything. I just would pause. I'd be like, and then I'd move on. But I did have, and I thought that way because with all of the women that I know out there that are Christian women, that are living in high definition, they have it going on, why are you 60 and you've never been married? Because I feel like there's a lot of choices out there. And so that was my misconception. But there are a lot of reasons why that man may or may not have been married, right? One is he has the gift of singleness. So I've grown and I've moved beyond that, and I've asked God for forgiveness. So that was my misconception. All right, so now we're going to get a little personal, a little bit more personal than we have. And I'd like for both of you to respond to this question. And I'm going to respond first because I feel like, sometimes it gives you courage, when somebody else goes first. So I will go first. All right. All right. So is being single hard to you or for you? And my answer to that is that, and I've been married and single, so I can compare and contrast. I think that being single is no harder than being married. The challenges are different, right? So, but I will have to say that there are some days I come home and turn on my music and I sing, help me, God, just as soon as you can. So am I the only one that does that? I'm by myself.
At least out of
Yeah.
I mean, there might be somebody else.
Shout out to you, whoever you know.
Do y'all got a song that y'all play when those times where you think about being married or you think about having a spouse?
No, me personally, the only time I ever I bring music around when, it has to deal with either being single or whatever is after I go through a breakup. Like just to
Okay.
kind of get over the breakup, I play
Okay.
the song in my head.
Okay.
I play it on the radio or on my iPod or whatever, and
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. What about you?
I feel like you said, the only time I listen to music, like if I was breaking up after I broke up with somebody, but I really only listen to gospel music, honestly.
Okay.
So if I'm sad or feeling some type of way, then I'm gonna turn on some lit gospel music and
Okay.
shout it out.
Okay. And I do that too, just so that you guys know. Okay. All right. So on to the next question. There are, so we talked a little bit about.
Oh, I didn't even really answer the question.
Oh,
The
you guys
first
didn't?
question, no.
Okay.
Oh yeah, what was it?
The question was,
Is
being single hard for you?
Yeah.
Oh, personally, no, I don't think it is.
Okay.
I'm not one of those people. I'm not a clingy type person, so I feel like I don't always need somebody around, and honestly, it's been a distraction in the past.
Okay.
So I feel like I don't need to have a relationship right now. Like if God sent it to me, He gonna have to tell me like, hey, do it. I'm like, okay, really? And then He's like, yeah.
Can I ask you
So-
how old you are?
I am 20.
Okay. So it
So-
puts everything into perspective. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Isaac.
So,
I don't think it's hard. I think early on, so when I was 20, 21, 22, it was kind of hard. But no, now that I'm 30 now,
Okay.
it's easy for me because I know more. I love myself.
Okay.
And if someone else comes along and he's like, hey, yeah, do it, we'll do it.
Okay.
I think probably if there's anything that's being hard about being single is when you're actively trying to go and meet someone and you just can't find that person.
Okay.
I think myself dating has been it's been easy because I know what I want, but it's been hard because I know what I want.
Okay.
So that's what the hardest part about being single is not finding people out there that fits, your personality.
So would you say you're content in your singleness?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you say that
Yeah,
too?
and I would add on to that, especially like on my age, people my age play around, so I'm not about to play with you. So
Yeah, okay, I understand that. Okay, I understand that. So let's talk a little bit about relationships, because God made us relational beings. And so do you think, the question is, what types of relationships do you cultivate in your life and to feel the need for companionship? And is it important to have friends that are single?
Yes, it's important to have friends that are single, but that are also like-minded.
Okay.
It's just because they can relate to you. Me trying to be, I have a lot of friends that are married. Most of my friends are married, actually,
Okay.
being 30 now.
Okay.
But yeah, most of my friends are married, and it sucks being the 7th and 9th and 13th wheel, because they've got all of this stuff kind of going on, and you're just sitting over here in the corner like, yo, let me get some of this buffalo dip, but I'm just going to continue my singleness over here on this side. But
Yes, okay. So what about you in a relationship? Do you guys think a man and a female and a male can be friends? Strictly
Yeah.
friends?
yeah, I lost my train of thought. I have a bunch of like godly community, so I have a bunch of friends, like a lot of them that I met like through different groups and like social media and things like that. So like I don't think I'm ever lonely because I'm always either like I'm in college, so working on a project or homework and different stuff like that, and or I would be talking to them and we talk like daily. So I don't think I ever lack any relationships, and I think that they can be friends, but you just have to have boundaries, because it is hard, because I think people after so long you get comfortable and then they're like, oh, I like you, and it's like, no, you don't. No. So you have to set those boundaries, like we're not gonna be texting each other all night, or you're not gonna be hugging up on me, we not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I
Your
understand.
friends.
even it's like physical boundaries too. Like I'm not gonna be laid up with you like we together. Like no, that's not it.
So when do you set those boundaries? So you meet somebody and you guys start become friends. So when do you set the boundaries? When do you say, no, we're not gonna be booed up, you're not gonna be calling me all the time? When do you set those boundaries? Or do they come naturally?
I feel like it
Naturally.
happens literally like right in the very beginning.
Okay.
You kind of know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's awkward to say, okay, this is not what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So usually I feel like that kind of thing comes naturally. But then if you feel like someone's overstepping that, then you establish, okay, this is not what we're about to do. That makes me uncomfortable, or this is not where I'm going in life, etc. So that they understand, okay, this is what the relationship is.
I think a lot of that we were saying it happens naturally. I think it's because of the situation that you put yourself in.
Exactly.
And when you do meet that person, or where you meet that person,
Okay.
that's how it happens naturally. And then if it does get to that point, you just, hey,
Yeah.
Okay.
we're just gonna, we're gonna be friends, and that's it.
Yeah, I do think a man and a woman can be friends. I have a very good guy friend, and he's married, and we grew up together, and I know his wife, and so that's a must. I must, if he's married, I must
Exactly.
know his wife, right?
Exactly.
And so we don't talk every day, and he lives out of town. But, when he comes into town, we have dinner, we go to a movie, and it's strictly friendship. He is an awesome man of God, and we talk about God mostly. But I think it's good, it's healthy to have friendships of the opposite sex. But like you said, there has to be parameters around it. And not every person, you cannot be friends with every person. Like, if you've dated somebody, do you think you can be friends with that person after
Don't do it. It's a trap. Don't do it.
you've dated? Yeah, I tend to agree with you. But a lot of people
can say that I'm actually friends with most of my exes.
Okay.
Boundaries.
Is it tough? Yeah. Is it tough? Yes. But
Okay.
you definitely set boundaries.
Yeah.
You were saying that you make sure that you meet your friends' wives and things like that or whatever. I think it's the same way. If I have a friend who I may have dated, I need to meet their boyfriend so they understand that dynamic. But then that's, again, you might as well
That's
just...
awkward. I don't know.
You don't do that?
We're not gonna be buddy, not best friends. No, you stay where you at, and stay where I'm at.
Yeah.
We gonna be cool.
Okay.
So it's possible. Just don't do it. It's just too much.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so on to the next question. The church is an integral part of a Christian life, or at least it should be, right? So can the church be more helpful to the single members during this season in their life? If so, how can they do that?
I know our church, Zoe, they had a singles ministry, so different things like that, where if it's not a date, but that like we're getting together often so that if you do feel lonely, then you won't after you get with other people. Even like they can preach about it. And just have like people have the Bible study groups and things like that. So getting together, like letting you know it's okay to be single. Like you don't need to strive to be married. Like let those things happen naturally. If it's in God's will, it will happen. Like stop trying to take control. He got it.
Okay.
He got it.
Yeah, at the church that I went to in Indiana before I moved back to Wisconsin into Waukesha, had the same thing, and we would do little Bible study groups and things like that. And most of them were based in, it's okay being single. What should you be doing single? Why does God want you to experience being single? Those were the types of conversations that we would have, and we'd be able to have that just open forum, which was really nice too. So you build that friendship as well.
And I think it's good to, if you're single, to have another like-minded individual when you talk about small groups, to call when you're going through a challenging time, right? Because if you go to your friends that are not saved, they're gonna say, "Girl, he fine."
No.
Right? That's what you'll get.
I'm
But okay, I told you we were gonna have fun. But no, I mean seriously.
Yeah.
But a like-minded
I just thought of Brown.
Okay, but somebody that is saved, they're going to give you what saith the Lord, right? So
right.
So you need that, and I think the church can help fulfill that. Spiritually mature individuals, they have to be spiritually mature now, because you don't want your business getting all out, in the community.
I think also with the whole, can the church help single people as they're going through people that are single shouldn't be afraid or embarrassed to go to those types of things. So it's not just one way. Being able to have a community where it's like that, where you can be way more open. Hey, I know you're single, we're going to this Bible study, come on and hang out. You have to be able to be open to be open and be okay with being single.
I agree with that. And I would like to also add another way, and that is that I think that the church should start with the youth, talking about purity and really kind of helping them to understand. I feel like the black church is really kind of silent about sex. It's like it's taboo. No, this is the house of the, house of the Lord.
And I think that is so important because you have to, there are a lot of churches like, don't have sex, it's bad, it's a sin, don't have sex. Okay, why? Like, why is it a sin?
That's it.
People say it feels good, like, why should I not do
Exactly.
this? So I think it has to be like clear, you should not do this because your body is a temple,
Exactly.
because you are God's, because you create soul ties,
Yes,
it can be detrimental for your future. So I think that it needs to be more, definitely more of a conversation, definitely.
Especially because when they go off to school, they're in school 8 hours a day. They're 40 hours a week with, kids that are not saved.
Yes.
That, again, we were talking about kids raising kids. Like that's where it all starts. That their friends are doing it and saying it.
Media.
And so,
That's all sex sells. That's all you see is all this seductive things and perverted things. So that's what they're thinking. Even video game, like everything is really crazy, honestly.
And then one last thing I think that the church could do is the church could do a better job of celebrating marriages. Because I just don't think a lot of children are growing up in single parent households. So they don't have an up close and personal view of what a healthy Christian marriage looks like. And I think that the church could do a better job in celebrating that and exposing those children to that union. What do you guys think?
I really don't have many thoughts on that. I think, yeah, it would be nice, but how do you do that?
Yeah.
Well, that's a discussion, right?
Yeah.
That's a discussion.
How do you do that?
I think it's a balance between, because you should celebrate it, but then people may feel like, oh, you're looking down on it if you're saying like you need to marry, your parents need to be married, etc. So then I feel bad and I don't want to participate.
Right,
so it has to be like a balance between, okay, this is a union and a covenant, and that's good, but if you're single, that's good as well, and you could because you can get married or you can be single. Like some people are meant to be single.
Yes.
So saying that both of those things are okay.
Okay, I see what you're saying, and that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so all good things must come to an end, and our part one is coming to an end with this last couple of questions. What is one scripture that helps anchor you during the season in your life? What is one scripture?
Mine actually has it has nothing to do with being single at all.
Okay.
But it's Joshua 1:9, and it says, I've commanded you, there's no need to fear, wherever you go, I will be with you.
Okay.
It's the gist of the scripture. I think that's been my anchor recently because, I've done a lot of traveling, but at the same time, I've also met a lot of people and been in a lot of different relationships and stuff like that, and have been afraid to end some relationships because it may have not been godly, but I wanted to be with that person because I really like them or love them. It's okay for you to break away and continue to move forward because he's going to be with you no matter what, whether it has to do with travel or where it has to do with your relationships.
Okay, and what is yours?
So when you talked about that, I try to find something, but honestly, I love 2 Corinthians 12:9, where it's my grace is sufficient and my strength is made perfect in your weakness. You can apply that all around. So and boast in your weakness because he is strong, so he is my strength. So, wherever I go, whatever I do, like just make sure that that his grace, we're undeserving, but his grace and his mercy and his favor is so great, so to keep going.
Okay. All right. So I thank everybody for watching our first episode of Christian Women Living in High Definition. I just encourage you to tune in next week as we continue this discussion on the season of singleness, the good, the bad, and the possible, and you don't want to miss it because we will be talking about dating and being Christian and single, and we will also be talking about if your desire is to get to marriage, we'll be talking a little bit about that, and then lastly we'll be talking about sex. So you just don't really want to miss it. So my name is Yolanda Hodges, and I'm a Christian woman trying to live in high definition for God. So be blessed and see you soon.
Thank you for watching Christian Women Living in High Definition. We hope that there was something said that either educated, empowered, or encouraged you today to live your life in high definition. Tune in next week as we continue our discussions. Don't miss out by liking our Facebook page at Marie Hargrove Ministries or subscribing to our YouTube channel at Living in High Definition. This podcast is a part of Marie Hargrove Ministries.